Okay, we have covered up to section 3.3, elementary matrices, and how to find the inverse matrix of A by using the Gaussian elimination. Today, we will finish up the chapter 3, which starts from subspaces and linear independence, and the solution space and the special matrices. You can see my English lecture, which is in detail in this web address, and also my Korean lecture in this web address. And also, you will find the material that I have made that has the web content that has all the details of these contents in Korean, like how to find the definitions and the problems and the solutions and the code to find it, how to check whether the given vectors are linearly independent or dependent, etc. And their definitions and problems and solutions and proofs are all there. So if you have any difficulty, all you have to do is just click to reach the materials that I have already made for you. Okay, in this section, section 3.4, we define a linear combination, a spanning set, and linear independence, and linear dependence, and a subspace of Rn. Okay, and we will also learn how to solve the system of linear equations by using the solutions for a system of homogeneous linear equations form a subspace of Rn. Okay, so these solution sets are related with this subspace. So we now start with the definition of subspace. Before we start, we just double check that the Rn denote for the set of n-dimensional vectors with the standard addition and scalar multiplication, and it is called the n-space. Actually, it's a vector space over R, and we also call the element in Rn is the element in Rn is called a vector. Vectors. Okay, now definition of subspace. Let W be a non-empty subspace subset of Rn. Let W be a non-empty subset of Rn, and then W is called the subspace of Rn if W satisfies these two conditions. If we choose two vectors, arbitrary two vectors from W, then vector addition of those two are in W, stays in W. So we call this operation vector, so we call it is closed under the vector addition. It is closed in W. Okay. And second condition is if we multiply a scalar, R, scalar to a vector, arbitrary vector in W, then this Kx still is in W. It does not go out to the subset W. It stays in W. So we call it, it is closed under, the W is closed under the scalar multiplication. So if W satisfies these two conditions, which is W is closed under the vector addition and W is closed under the scalar multiplication. If we choose any two vectors from W, vector addition is in there. If we multiply any scalar to any vector in W, still is in W, not outside of W. Then we call it a subspace of Rn. The examples are all subspace of Rn contains a zero vector because if you multiply, if W is in X, X is in W, and if you multiply zero, scalar zero to X, it is going to be a zero vector. So zero vector is also always is in W. For any subset W, or any non-empty subset W of Rn, then if you multiply 0 to any vector in W, then vector 0 plus 0 is in W, and 0 times vector x in W is in W. So it's 0 vector is in every subspace. So any subspace of R contains a 0 vector in it. And Rn is itself a subspace of Rn, and a singleton set with 0 vector is also a subspace of Rn. We call these two are trivial subspaces of Rn. Okay? Because, for example, this, if you choose two vectors from here, then it's only 0 and 0. So 0 plus 0 is a 0 vector, so which is in here. And 0 vector times any scalar is a 0 vector, which is in here. So this set of vector, this is a non-empty set, subset of Rn, and it is closed under the vector addition, and is closed under the scalar multiplication. So it satisfies two conditions, so it is a subspace of Rn. Okay? Okay, subset. This y equal x. Set of a line passes through the origin in Rn, R2. Let's say this is L0. Then it satisfies two conditions for subspaces. Because if you choose two vectors from L0, then if you add those two vector, then it's still in here, satisfies this condition. And if you multiply a scalar here, a k, then kx is equal to ky, so it also satisfies this. So it stays in here. So it satisfies two conditions to be a subspace, so it is a subspace. But this L1 is not. It is not closed under the vector addition and scalar multiplication. Yeah, you will check it by yourself. Yeah. If you choose two vectors in R1, if you add those two, then it is 1, 3, which does not satisfy this equation. Okay? Okay. Yeah. X is equal to 1, y is equal to 3. If you put y 3, x is equal to 1, then 3 is equal to 2, which is not true. So this point is not in L1. So it's not closed under the vector addition. So it violates at least one condition to be a subspace. So it is not a subspace. Okay. So all subspaces of R2 are one of the following. These three. R2. In R2 case, 0 subspace. That's a subspace. R2 itself is a subspace. All others are just lines through the origin, like this. Not like this. Any line that through the origin is a subspace of R2. For R3 case, all subspaces of R3 are one of the following, these four. First, 0 subspace and R3 is a subspace of R3, but there are two more. Any line passing through the origin. That is closed under the vector addition and scalar multiplication. And any plane that passing through the origin, that also satisfies the condition. There are two conditions. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So actually, these are the classification of subspaces for R2 and R3. Next, show that a subset W is a subspace of R6. How you can show this W is a subspace of R6? First, this is a non-empty subset of R6. If you choose, just choose arbitrary two vectors from W and add those. Check whether it is in W or not. Okay? Now you see this is in W. And multiply a scalar to the arbitrary vector x, then kx satisfies this, and it is in W. So so W, we found that W is closed under the vector addition and closed under the scalar multiplication. So it is a subspace. And if we let M sub M by N denote the set of all M by N matrices over R, okay? If this is a set of all M by N matrices whose entries are real, then for this, we define W as a set of vectors in Rn such that Ax is equal to 0. Then this W is a subspace of Rn. How we can show that? Choose arbitrary two vectors in W and check the vector addition is in W and scalar multiplication is in W. Okay? So what we have to do is, if we choose, so first we check zero vector is in there, so W is not, there is a non-empty subset of subset of Rn, and then next choose arbitrary two vectors x and y. So it should satisfy this equation. Ax should be 0 and ay should be 0. Now what we have to show is a times x plus y is a 0 vector and a times kx is equal to a 0 vector. Then what this means is x plus y is a solution of this linear system, homogeneous linear system equation, and kx is also a solution for this homogeneous linear system of equation. That means, which means x plus y is in W and kx is in W. Okay? So we can check this W is closed under the vector addition and closed under the scalar multiplication. So W is a subspace of what? Rn, because W is a subset of Rn. This is a subspace of Rn. This is very important. This W is called the solution space or null space of A. Actually, this W is a set of all solutions for Ax is equal to 0. Okay? What you are when you solve this linear system of equation, then actually what you are looking for was finding this W, this set, which is a solution set, which has a solution space structure that satisfies two conditions. Next, linear combination. Actually, in chapter 1, I introduced the definition, the concept of linear combination already in R3. Okay, now we expand it to Rn. Okay, let Xi's, if X is in Rn, can be expressed in the form like this. If X can be written as the what? Linear combination of Xi's like this. X for real numbers Ci's. Then we call X is a linear combination of vectors Xi's. X is a linear combination of Xi's like this. Okay. There's no scale. Okay. There's only you just multiply scalar and add those. That's so X is this vector X is a linear combination of Xi's. Xi's. With that definition, we can check whether this X is a linear combination of this or not. How? Just let X is equal to C1 X1 plus C2 X2 and solve this linear system of equation, which is this. If you can find a solution C1 and C2, then it means it is a linear combination. If you cannot find this CI, then what? It's not a linear combination of X1 and X2. How? So, you know how to solve this. How? Okay, so if you solve this, then you will find the situation like this, which means the last equation cannot be exist. The 0x1 plus 0x2 is equal to 1. There is no which means there is no such C1 and C2 that satisfies all this equation. This last line shows what it is. So we can find, which means there is no C1 and C2 that satisfies this, which means this X cannot be a linear combination of X1 and X2. Okay? This is the way. Now we expand it to the general case. Show that the set of all linear combinations of S, which is K vectors in Sn, the set of K vectors in Rn, then let W be a linear set of all linear combinations of these Xi's from 1 to K. Then this W is a subspace of Rn. Okay. How? We have to show. We have to show this W satisfies two conditions. Closed under the vectorization first. Second, closed under scalar multiplication. So what we have to do is just choose arbitrary two vectors, X and Y, and show X plus Y is in here, and KX is in W. That's all we have to do. So suppose we choose arbitrary two vectors X and Y in W. That means there exist scalar Ci's and Di's such that X is a linear combination of Xi's and Y is a linear combination of Xi's like this. Okay? This is what we have from this condition. And next show X plus Y can be written, so X plus Y can be written in this way and KX can be written in this way. But XC1 plus D2 is a real number, and C2 plus D2 is a real number, and CK plus DK is a real number. So this is in W. Next, KC1 is a real number, and KC2 and KCKs are all real numbers. So this is in W as well. So W is closed under the vector addition and scalar multiplication. So W is a subspace of Rn by the definition. Okay? So it's a subspace. In example 7, we saw that for subset S is in Rn, the set of all linear combination W is a subspace of Rn. We say this W is a subspace of Rn spanned by S. Spanned by S. Spanned by this set of K vectors. This is a subspace particularly spanned by S. In this case, we say S spans, this set S spans W, and S is a spanning set of W. So these are the terminology that you should know. It will be used over and over. Okay. The definition of basis will be depend on this. Span and linear independence. And we denote W is a span of S, or we denote W is a span of S in this way. Okay? So if you have a K set of vectors, then you can always generate all the set of linear combination of those, which is a span of S. We know it is always a subspace of Rn. That's the whole idea. In particular, if all vectors in Rn can be expressed a linear combination of S, then we say S spans Rn. That means Rn is same as span of S, like this. Okay. This is a special case when S spans whole vectors of Rn. So, S is a spanning set of R2. If you have these two vectors, then any vectors in R2 can be written as a linear combination of these two vectors. So this is a spanning set, because this generates every vector in Rn. So this is a spanning set. Span of this is same as R2. Okay? This three vectors is a spanning set of R3. Like you have seen this before. E1, E2, E3, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 0, 1. Those three vectors. You can generate any vectors in R3 with that three vectors. Okay? So that E1, E2, E3 generate R3, spans R3. Similarly, these three vectors, can generate any vector in Rn. How you can show that? Choose an arbitrary vector here, x, y, z. Write it as the capital vector x can be written as C1 plus C2 plus this plus C3 plus this, and just solve it. Then you will see, since RREF of these three vectors are identity matrix, so you can always find the unique solution for that. So there exists a solution. So C1, C2, C3 means. So any vectors in R3 can be written as a linear combination of these three vectors. Got it? So this is a spanning set. Okay. Next, column space and row space. When you have a matrix, n by n matrix A, then you have n columns of A. Then you can think about the span of these n vectors and columns. Then we call it is a column space of A. The span of n columns. We write it as a column space of A like this. And also you have m rows. If you have n by n matrix, you have m rows. Then you can think about the linear combination of those vectors and row vectors. Then set of all those linear combination of row vectors form a span of those, right? Which is a subspace. We call it is a row space. So we write it as a row of A, row space of A, like this. Okay? Here is an example to check. If you have x1, x2, x3 like this, then this is check whether this set of three vectors spans R3 or not. How? Choose an arbitrary vector x and let it be in this way. Write the arbitrary vector x as a linear combination of this x1 and x2, x3. And then set up a linear system of equation like this, and set up a linear equation like this, and find the solution. Like this. What this means? This is a homogeneous system. We don't need to worry about this. We just think about this only. And here, what we found is we have one free variables. So we have infinite. Here it matches. It's consistent. And we have one free variable g here, c, and we have infinite many solutions for C1, C2, C3. So there exists. So what? So what it means? Not spans, but this means that one of C1, C2, C3 cannot be determined. Cannot be determined. Therefore, the linear system has a case that this system cannot be determined the unique solution. So in that case, we know it doesn't have a unique solution. Some case, okay, in this spans or not. Spans. First, we can find the solution, but it is not unique. So it does not span Rn, R3. Okay. I think, okay. Yeah, so it does not span it. So actually, what really means is we have three vectors, which is, so we will examine this with the definition of linear independence. So with this, yeah. You think about this example more in detail. Yeah. Clearly, what I can say is, there are some. I will explain it after this definition. Linear independence and linear independent. Dependence and linear independent. Okay. With this definition, the concept of those spans will be much more clear. Let S is a subset of Rn that satisfies this, which means when you have a linear combination of this xi is equal to 0, that implies all the coefficients are 0. In that case, we say these xi's are linearly independent. If we have a set of k vectors, find the linear combination of it, and let it be zero vector. Then show all those ci's are zero. If it is true, it is true. If all you have only unique solution, which is just all ci's are zero, then we say these vectors are linearly independent. If not, if it has no solution, or if it has infinite many solutions, then we say it's not linearly independent. So in that case, we call it is linearly dependent. So linear independence, this is what you have to show. Let linear combination of those vectors are zero and show all the ci's are zero. If S is linearly dependent, then there exists at least one non-zero scalar that satisfies this. If it's linearly independent, it has some ci's that satisfies this. Some ci's may not be a zero scalar. Some of ci's are not zero. Okay? At least one of non-zero scalar in here exists that satisfies this. So actually, this is a contrapositive 대우이지 대우. 이러면 이렇다는 리니어 인디펜던트잖아. 그러면 이게 대우를 생각하면 리니어 디펜던트면, 리니어 인디펜던트가 아니면 이 조건을 만족하지 않아야 되지. 그러니까 이 조건을 만족하는 0 아닌 CI가 존재한다. 이렇게 해야 되지. 이 CI 모두가 0이어야 된다 그랬는데 모두가 0은 아니면서 이것을 만족하는 CI가 존재한다. 그게 바로 리니어 디펜던트의 정의가 되는 거예요. 대우로 찾을 수 있는 거야. 오케이? 그게 이 말이에요. This is the actually contrapositive of the definition of linear independent. You have seen that the unit vectors of Rn, E1, E2, up to En, are already, and we can see these EIs are linearly independent. Let's see. Let's form a linear combination of these EIs and let it be zero. Then this can be written as this. Okay? This can be written as this. Isn't it? C1 should be equal to 0, C2 is equal to 0, and Cn should be equal to 0. So that means all Ci should be 0. So if we start from here with these vectors, then all Ci should be 0. Which means EIs, the vector EIs are 0 vector. Isn't it? Okay? And so that Xi's are linearly, and so these are linear independent. Show that this is linear independent. How? These two vectors are linear independent. Let it be 0 and solve the system. Then, if you have two equations and two unknowns, and you can find the all Ci should be 0. So it's linear independent. If you have these three vectors, then show whether it is a linear independent or not. Then let the linear combination of these three vectors set it be 0, and then form a linear system of equation. And from here, you have these three equations, which means C3 is equal to 0, then C2 should be 0 too, and C2, C3 are 0, then C1 should be 0. So you have all Ci's are 0. That means these three vectors are linearly independent. So these are the typical examples of the vectors of linearly independent. For these three vectors, you show these three vectors are linearly dependent. How? Form a linear combination, set it be 0, then form a linear system of equation like this, then we check the solution of this by finding the RREF of this. As you see here, this has infinite many solutions, which means you have the Ci's may not be 0. There are C1, C2, C3, which is not 0. There are some Ci which are not 0 that satisfies this, which means it cannot be linear independent. So this shows it is a linear dependent vector. And with all those, so for example, if we choose C1, C2, C3 like this, then therefore there exists non-zero scalar, which So that means S is linearly dependent. We can write a theorem with the information that we have developed so far. Let S be a subset of Rn, then the following hold. If S is a linear dependent, if and only if some element in S can be expressed as a linear combination of the other element in S. If S contains the zero vector, then S is linearly, 요거 지금 A 빼야겠다. S is linearly dependent. S is linearly dependent. If a set S prime is linearly dependent, then S is also linearly dependent. And if S is linearly independent, then S prime is also linearly independent. Yeah. These are the kind of the informations that we can easily check. For we have shown for the first part one, which is most important. So the left-hand side implies right-hand side, and right-hand side implies the left-hand side. Okay, and here is a proof for the first part, and for the second and third part are left as an exercise for you. So yeah, I expect you to think about these two proof. 김현진 군, you may explain why this is true, the second part. And 김강석 군, you may think about why this is true for the third part. Okay? And share it in Q&A. Next. In Rn, if m vectors are always, if m is bigger than n, then m vectors are always linearly dependent. In Rn, if you have more than n vectors, then it cannot be linearly independent. That's it. I have given the proof in in chapter 7 that I will give you a proof when we study chapter 7. For example, in R3, if you have 4 vectors, then you don't have to nothing. This is linearly dependent. In R2, if you have 3 vectors, then it is linearly dependent, always. Line and planes from the viewpoint of subspace. Okay, here. If you have a non-zero vector V, then TV is a subspace containing the zero vector. But this, when X naught is not a zero vector, then this is a line passes through the point X0 and parallel to V. You have seen in the section 1.3 vector equation. In this case, this is a translate of this line. Okay, this line is a translate of this line from the origin to X0. Okay? In general, if X0 to Xk are vectors in Rn, then set of vectors this is a subset of Rn, which is a translation of the subspace this. We have found this is a subspace. This is span of TIs. Okay, this is a subspace. This is a plane that passes through the origin. This is a plane that passes through the origin. But X is equal to X0 plus this is a plane that translated from origin to X0 of this plane. Okay. This idea will be used in section 3.5, solution, set, and matrices. Yeah, you have information here. In this section, we first state the relationship between invertibility of matrices and solutions to the system of linear equations. If you have AX is equal to B and A is invertible, then if you multiply A inverse, then you have a solution like this, easily. If you have AX is equal to B like this, then AX can be written as a matrix form with these matrices and vectors. Then A inverse can be found easily by REF. Then by using Gaussian elimination, then x is equal to just A inverse times B, which is this, which means x1 is equal to minus 1, x2 is equal to 1, and x is equal to 0. This can be done in this way. Define a matrix and vector and find the A inverse. If you multiply A inverse, then you have a solution, which is minus 1, 1, and 0 like this. Or this same thing can be done by just solve the linear system of AX is equal to B with this command. You have the same solutions. That's what it says. If you have a homogeneous linear system of equation like this, AX equals 0, then AX equals 0 can be written in this way. X is equal to 0 is called the trivial solution. Always. And if X is not a 0 and it is a solution, then it is called the non-trivial solution. For the homogeneous linear system of equation, it always has a trivial solution. So there are only two cases. It has only a trivial solution or infinite many solution. Because there is no case that it has no solution. It always has a solution. So whether it has a unique solution or infinite many solution. That's the only cases. Non-trivial solution of homogeneous system. Homogeneous system with m equations and n variables such that m is less than n. We have more variables than number of equations. Then what happens? The number of variables is greater than that of equations. In that case, it always has a non-trivial solution, like this. If you have 4 variables and 3 unknown, 3 equations, then if you find the augmented matrix, then RREF can be written like this. It has what? 1, 2, 3 leading variables, and you have a free variables here, which is x4 is a free variables. Okay, so you always a free variable for this homogeneous system of equation. You have always infinite many solutions. Okay, so if x4 is a free variable, so let it be R, then x1, 2, 3 can be written with this R. So it has a non-trivial solution. If you choose R is not 0, then if R is not 0, then you have a non-trivial solution, which is many. Important thing is this. If you have AX is equal to B, then we call AX is equal to 0 is the associated homogeneous system of linear equation of AX is equal to B. If you have AX equal to B, then think about AX is equal to 0 first. Then find the solution of this. Okay? So if you have this linear system of equation, then you can easily find the RREF of this matrix. Then you can find the leading variables, and you have free variables here, 1, 2, 3. With these free variables, you can find the set of the solutions of this homogeneous system. Next. Just find one solution that satisfies this equation. Just plug in, so in here, plug in just one particular solution, then this particular solution, the addition of this set of solutions for homogeneous system plus this particular solution forms all the set of solutions for that AS is equal to B. This can be done in this way. Yeah. With this equations, with this we have what? 2 free variables, and the solution sets can be found in this way. And here, this is the way to find the particular solution. When compare geometrically the solution to the system and those of the associated homogeneous system, the solution set for the associated homogeneous system is merely translated by a vector x0 like this. So if you have a solutions, if you are looking for solution set for AX is equal to B, you find the solutions for that solution set for AX is equal to 0 first. Then you have a solution space. Then translate it to just one solution that satisfies it and add that vector to translate that solution space to the whole solution set for the AX is equal to B. This is the idea. If AX is equal to 0 and AX not is equal to B. So you have when you have AX is equal to B, then you can think about associated homogeneous system. And you can easily find one solution. How? If you have a linear system of equation, just give the number. You can give a number that you can easily find one vector on that satisfies all those equations. So you can easily find one. 그러니까 어떤 연립 방정식이 있으면 거기다 x1, x2, x3에다가 그냥 숫자 적당히 주어서 마지막에 이퀄 0 되게 만들면 되는 거 아니야? 식을 만족하게끔 만들면 되잖아. 그러니까 그냥 하나 찾는 건 쉽지. 그냥 하나를 찾는 거는. 그러니까 you can easily find one point that satisfies, one vector that satisfies this equation. And find the solution for this linear system of equation by using the way that you have learned to find the solution space. Then what this means is, if you have this, then A times X plus X0 is this. So X is equal to 0 vector, AX is equal to B. So this satisfies this linear system of equation. That's the whole idea. Now you have an infinite many solutions that satisfies this. Okay. So does the system of linear equation AX equal to B has a solutions, many solutions? Let W be a solution space of AX equals 0. Then if X0 is a solution to AX B, then this is a solution set of this. So when you are looking for a solution set of AX equal to B, then find W and particular solution X naught by an easy way, then shift, add to make a translation of W, solution space W to this. This is the idea. This is the idea. If we have AX is equal to B, then find the solution space of AX equals 0, which is W here. And find one particular solution for AX that satisfies AX0 is equal to B. Then set X0 plus this solution space to form this. This is a solution space for, a solution set for AX is equal to B. That's the way. Okay, I talked the geometric meaning of it, the translation of this solution space. And this is the theorem that works. We have learned this. If A is invertible, then RREF is identity. A is elementary product of elementary matrix, and AX is equal to 0 has a unique solution, and AX equal to B has a unique solution for AXB has a unique solution for B. So actually this is what this is. For invertible matrix, AX equal B has a unique solution. Then the columns of A are linearly independent, and rows of A are also linearly independent. These are all equivalent, if and only if. And you read this and consider the system of linear equation like this. And easy to check, 1132 satisfies this. This is a non-trivial solution. This is a non-trivial solution. Then we can check, and we can check this solution. What this means is inner product of these two vectors are all zeros. Actually, solution space, the homogeneous system AXB with n variables, if the system has n linear equations of size like this, then it can be written using the inner product. So if this is row vectors, then row vectors and this axis, inner product of these are all zeros. If AX is equal to 0. This can be checked here. Here is the linear system of equation, and the rows of this are all orthogonal. The dot product, inner product are all zeros. They are all orthogonals. I think we are at the end. This is the end of this section 3.5, solution space and linear independence. Solution space. Here, if you have a linear equation like this, then the solution set of linear equation is a line in xy plane. If you have the linear equation like this with 3 variables, then the solution set for this is a plane in R3. If you have an equation with n variables like this, in Rn, then solution set forms a plane. If B is equal to 0, then it is a hyperplane passing through the origin. This hyperplane can be considered as a solution set of this n times inner product of these two vectors. The solution set, this, is called the orthogonal complement of n, written as n perv. This n is called the normal vector of plane pi, which is n perv. So if n is a vector like this, then this plane is a n perv. Any vectors on this plane is orthogonal to this vector. Inner product of any vector on here, x, with n is 0. So this is a set of vectors that satisfies these equations. We call this, n is a normal vector of this plane pi. And n perv, this pi is, this n perv is called the orthogonal complement of n. Orthogonal. All the vectors in here is orthogonal to n. So n and n perv, which is pi, which is a plane, orthogonal planes. That's the end of section 3.5. Yeah. And next, yeah, we will continue the special matrices, such as identity matrix and scalar matrix and symmetry matrix. Any questions?